Okay, you guys, we're gonna get going. Come onto your mat. Let me mute you. And like I said,
now I got
start in child's pose. So if you're just coming on in, no worries, get your mat out, find your space, and come into child's pose at the back of your mat. Now for you, child's pose might need some pillows behind the knees, okay, maybe pillows in front of you, maybe a block for under the head so that you don't have to come down as far. I encourage you to try to find a version of child's pose that works for you. Okay, and don't be afraid to fiddle around a little bit. Find props that'll help you take this shape and let go in the shape. If child's pose is just not going to work for you and you know it, and that's okay, come into a comfortable seated position, okay? So if that's you, if you're in that comfortable seated position camp, I'm going to want you to be sitting on something. It doesn't have to be very big or high, just a folded up towel. And whatever it is you're sitting on, you'll come to the very edge of it so that your hips rock forward and you find a neutral spine, whatever you want to do with the legs, and the arms rest gently on the knees. So either child's pose or that nice, comfortable, rooted position in a seated position. And take this time to arrive. And if that means getting up to go get a prop, do it. Okay? Honor that and what your body needs here. And whatever shape you're in, breath by breath, begin to let go. So each breath allows you to settle a little bit more securely and relaxed onto your mat. Simple words and phrases have the power to interrupt negativity and to invite change in your life. Mantras can be a great tool to use in your yoga practice, but also in just your practice in life. If you have a mantra that you are working with, use that mantra if you'd like. I invite you to use this mantra today. So on each inhale, breathe in and say to yourself, I am love. And each exhale, let go. Each breath in, I am love. Each exhale, release. I find that this mantra helps manage insecurities, judgment, that tendency towards comparison. And the more that I connect to my heart, the more love I have to give. I am love on your inhale. And then exhale what does not serve you. In and out. And if you've not done so already, begin to deepen your breath. Filling up your lungs more and more and exhaling all the way out to the bottom of your lungs. Each inhale, the mantra, I am love. On your next inhale, rock yourself up into tabletop. Bring your hands right underneath your shoulders, knees right underneath the hips, and exhale everything out. Inhale, sag the belly, broaden the chest, cow. On your exhale, round the back, tuck the tail and chin, cat. Inhale, exhale. Feeling out this articulation in the spine, being in this moment, feeling your body move, and just being in touch with how that feels. Close down the eyes and maybe move through a little bit more of a bear pose. So allowing your breath and your body to help dictate your movement. No one's looking. Everybody's got their eyes closed. You do you. Coming into stillness, take your hands and stretch them out in front of your shoulders a bit, maybe like 3 or 4 more inches. Okay, on your exhale, shift your hips back into a child's pose position. Inhale, come forward with your hips, tone the glutes and find a little back bend here. Exhale, child's pose. And then inhale, hips come forward. Find your range of motion slowly here. And then exhale, child's pose. We're gonna do one more. Inhaling forward into your slight back bend, broadening the chest, maybe even looking up. Exhale, child's pose. Back up into all four. Bring the hands back underneath your shoulders and tuck the back toes and lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Now, downward facing dog might feel like a lot for you. So if you'd like an alternative to any downward facing dog that we do today, you can drop your knees, stretch your arms out in front of you and lower your forehead to the ground, pushing your hips up and back into this position. So you'll see that this is very much a similar shape to downward facing dog. It's called puppy dog. And there's the same benefits here. And it just takes a little bit of body weight when you come down to your knees. If you're in puppy dog, tuck your toes just enough so that you can come up onto your tippy toes and take little tiny baby steps to your hands. Now bend your knees as much as you need to make that happen. And then land with your feet hip width apart. Your knees are bent generously. Your chest and belly lay on your thighs. Ragdoll pose. Let your head be heavy. You can simply let your hands drape to the ground. You can also grab opposite elbows. You can be in stillness here, or you can continue to invite a little bit of movement and just allow that to translate however in your body. Maybe a little bit of bouncing, light bouncing, shaking the head out yes and no, and just kind of feeling that traction in the cervical spine. Let your hands come to the mat if they were in a bind, and heel toe your feet back together. Inhale, bring the hands to the shins, lengthen the spine, pull the shoulders down the back, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, bending the knees, totally acceptable. Tone the low belly as you fold forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen, Ardha Uttanasana, hands to the shins, shoulders down the back. Exhale, fold. We're gonna do that one more time. Inhale, lift and lengthen, hands to the shins, shoulders down the back. Exhale, tone the low belly, Uttanasana, forward fold. This time on your inhale, bend the knees, sweep the arms up and over, and then exhale, hands through heart center. Pausing here for a moment. We're gonna run through a couple of half sun salutations and then full sun salutations, just to warm up the body and get the joints moving and the breath working. Connect to your body here, breathing in, I am love. Blink open the eyes, inhale, sweep the arms up, and then dive forward, exhale, forward fold, nice and slowly and mindfully. Inhale, lift and lengthen, hands to the shins. Exhale, fold once again. Inhale, sweep the arms up and over, watch them connect. Dive forward on your exhale, all the way down into a forward fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen, hands to the shins. Exhale, fold again. Inhale, sweep the arms up and over, extended mountain pose. One more time, exhaling all the way down through center, bending the knees as needed, forward fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, extended mountain pose. And then exhale your hands to heart center and pause here for a moment. So just let that movement translate into your body. See how that feels as you now still in your body. We're gonna now move through 3 sun salutation A. Blink your eyes open if they're closed. Inhale, sweep the arms up, extended mountain pose. Exhale, dive forward with the flat back, bend your knees as needed. Exhale here. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, pause here, bring the knees down. Exhale, shift the weight forward and lower all the way to the belly with control. Inhale, plant the tops of the feet and lift the chest up a bit. Cobra. Exhale, come down. Move through all fours into downward facing dog or puppy dog. A couple of breaths here to just settle. Finding either your puppy dog or your downward facing dog. We're going to move through a few more of those sun A's. If you're in puppy dog, you'll need to briefly tuck your toes and come to your feet. Inhale, look at your hands, bend the knees, and take a couple of big steps to your hands. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, extended mountain pose. Sweep your arms up and over. Exhale all the way through heart center as you dive forward with a flat back. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, plant the hands, step back. You can lower the knees or keep them up. Exhale, shift your weight forward, lower through chaturanga. You may come all the way to the ground or upward facing dog. And then exhale, downward facing dog. And remembering, puppy dog is always there for you. Little break here. You can also take child's pose instead of downward facing dog if you like. We're gonna do one more sun A. On your inhale, you're gonna look up to your hands, bend your knees, take whatever steps you need to meet your feet to your hands. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, sweep your arms up and over, extended mountain. Exhale, bring them all the way through heart center as you continue to dive forward into Uttanasana. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, lower the knees if needed. And then your next exhale, shift your weight forward, lower down with control. And then either cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog or puppy dog. We're going to be coming into a low lunge position from our downward facing dog or puppy dog. Okay, on your inhale, prepare, and on your exhale, right foot comes forward and your back knee drops. So now we're in a nice low lunge position. You can untuck your back toes. Inhale, your arms up into a low lunge. If you'd rather, you can bring your hands to your hips. Let's set this lunge up. Okay, right hip pulls back, left hip pushes forward. Okay, to square your hips to the front. Tailbone stretches down towards the ground. Belly pulls in. And that's gonna help the hips be neutral so that you can be light and buoyant out of the top part and grounded through the back. Now shift your weight forward just a bit. Inhale, fill up your lungs, look up, watch your hands connect, and then exhale, bring them down through heart center. Okay, inhale, and then exhale, see if you can get your left elbow on the outside of your right knee. If that feels like too much, you can rest it right on top of the knee. You're using your belly to twist, pull the shoulders down the back, and keep that right hip pulling back, left hip pushing forward, belly's pulled in. Good, you got this. Inhale your arms back up overhead, finding your low lunge. And then exhale, bring the hands to the mat, return back either to your puppy dog or downward facing dog. And we're gonna do the same thing on the left. On your exhale, that left leg will come forward between the hands. Right knee is gonna lower. Inhale your arms up, or if you'd rather, hands to the hips. So you can make that choice for yourself. Untuck the back toes. And then again, set this low lunge up. Square the hips, right hip forward, left hip back. Tailbone stretches down, belly pulls in. Shift your weight forward just a little bit. You should feel a nice big stretch across that right hip flexor. Inhale, fill up your lungs, look up, watch your hands connect, and then bring your hands through heart center on your exhale. Again, inhale, fill up. Exhale, use the low belly to try to get that right elbow to the outside of the left knee as you broaden the chest and open to the left. Continue to push that left hip back and the right hip forward. Next inhale, sweep the arms back up, low lunge. And then exhale, hands come to the mat. Step that left foot back, however that works for you. Downward facing dog or puppy dog. We're gonna do another low lunge series on either side. Inhale fully. And then on your exhale, that right leg comes forward once again. Left knee drops down and toes untuck. Inhaling all the way up into a low lunge. So set it up just as we did before. You want to square the hips, tailbone down, belly pulled in. Okay. Now, grab your right wrist with your left hand as you lean. Nope, I lie. Switch. Take your right hand and grab your left wrist as you lean right. Keep your chest rotated up, belly's pulled in. And then as you lean right, your hip, your left hip is gonna push out left. So find that separation of rib cage and hip bone. Inhale, come back up to center. Exhale, sweep the left hand back and come into a twist. This is your exhale. Inhale, sweep your arms back up. Exhale, left hand sweeps back as you come into an open arm twist. Inhale, back up. We're gonna do that 3 more times. Use your breath. One more, use your nice full breaths to help you move. Ending with your arms up in low lunge. Fill up, look up, find that last little bit of stretch, and exhale, bring your hands to the mat. Tuck the back toes and find that transition shape for you. So what are you gonna do between sides here? Downward facing dog, puppy dog, child's pose. Okay, so we're gonna do that same thing on the left side. So on your exhale, bring your left foot between your hands and then drop your right knee, untuck those right toes. Inhale, find low lunge. So again, Set it up. Square the hips, tailbone down, belly pulled in. Shift your weight forward a bit. All right, now left hand grabs right wrist and lean to the left. Hands are reaching left, right hip is reaching right. You're finding a real separation here between hip and rib cage. Shoulders and chest rotated up slightly, so try not to get into this position. Coming back up to center as you inhale. Okay, exhale, open arm twist, right arm sweeps back, look back. Inhale, arms come back up. Exhale, open the arms, look back. Inhale, back up. You've got 3 more. Exhale to twist. Inhale, back to center. Woo. Changing the gaze does affect the balance. Last one, inhale, up to center, looking up, and then exhale, bringing your hands to the mat, tucking the back toes, and coming into your transition shape here. Couple breaths. All right, if your knees are not already on the ground, go ahead and drop them into all fours, and then slowly and controllably lowering yourself down all the way to the mat on your belly. You'll need a little bit of clearance on either side of you, okay? Bring your arms out to a T and your hands just lower than your shoulders. We're gonna anchor the tops of our feet and our pubic bones, so our glutes are gonna have to be engaged here. Exhale, and then on your inhale, let your chest come up, hands come to the fingertips so they're tented, and our chest is up off the ground. Exhale, you can leave your hands tented, bring your chest down. Inhale, lift up, ground the pubic bones, tone the glutes, shoulders down the back, exhale down. We're gonna do that one more time. Inhale, come up, shoulders down the back, long spine, gaze down the bridge of the nose. Exhale, all the way down. Bring those fingertips now in, so they're just off of your mat and maybe slightly higher than the shoulders now. On your inhale, you're gonna lift that chest up to the center, and then you're gonna exhale, left shoulder down so that you come into sort of a little bit of a twist to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale, right shoulder falls, twisting to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, drop the left shoulder. Continue. Finding your full expression, your full range of motion here. We're gonna move through each side one more time. And then settling into the front, into the center, excuse me. Bring your hands just outside the rib cage and push all the way up to all fours. And then we're gonna come into a seated position, so let your hips fall to the mat and sweep the feet out in front of you. Okay, so you're still facing the camera, same direction. Okay. With your knees bent, feet flat on the ground, bring your hands just behind your hips. So this is gonna be a chest opening and a slight back bend, okay? So what degree your hands are rotated is really kind of a self-selection there, okay? Take a nice big inhale and an exhale here. Your next inhale, look up, broaden the chest, think about externally rotating the arms as you let your head be heavy and puff out your chest. And then exhale, you come out of that nice and slowly. We're gonna do that twice more. So on an inhale, externally rotate the arms, broaden the chest, let the head be heavy. Inhale, back to center. Sorry, exhale, back to center. Inhale one more time, opening and broadening the chest. Little back bend, And then exhale back to center. Okay. Right leg comes out in front. I'm actually face the camera for this. All right, so right leg is out in front. I want your left sole of the foot, inner right thigh. So you're kind of in a flag position here. Now your right leg, I want it to be engaged. So think about your toes pointing up and your kneecap up the leg just a little bit, okay? Inhale your arms up, and then exhale, folding over your right leg. You can grab onto the leg, let the hands be on either side. If you can reach the sole of the foot, you can grab there, whatever makes sense here. Now, I want you to prioritize your long spine. So each inhale, long spine. Each exhale, forward fold. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, maybe you get a little bit more. 2 more breaths just like that. Actively thinking about that left knee being pulled to the ground. On your next exhale, if you'd like to round now through the spine, let the head be heavy. Couple breaths here. And slowly coming back upright, keeping the left knee bent, but bringing the left foot onto the ground, okay? And then bringing that left foot up and over the right leg, okay? Inhale fully, and then exhale, grab the knee and twist to the left. So you can just give that knee a hug. This is sort of the first stop, right? Now, if you're feeling good here and you'd like a little bit more twist, you can inhale that right leg, that right arm up, and then twist and anchor that right elbow on the outside of the left knee, and then you would drop your left hand right behind you. So you can experiment with this. It's a little bit more intense of a twist. You want to make sure your belly is pulled in and helping you with that twist. Shoulders are down, long cervical spine. And then maybe you experiment with looking over the left shoulder. Slowly coming out of that, releasing that left leg long now and maybe bouncing the knees before moving on. All right, right sole of the foot into the left inner thigh. So switching sides here. Engage that left leg a little bit. So don't let it just be flopping there. Toes pointed up, kneecap up the leg a bit. Inhale fully. Exhale, forward fold with a long spine. So each inhale, long spine. Each exhale, maybe there's some forward fold. Perhaps coming back to your mantra here. Inhaling, I am love. Exhaling, letting go of what holds you back. Thinking about that right knee, pulling it down towards the mat. And now on your next exhale, if you'd like to round through the spine, let the head be heavy. Couple breaths here. Slowly rolling upright. Right foot, sole of the foot now comes to the mat, and you're gonna cross it over the left leg. Inhale here, exhale fully. And then on this next breath, as you inhale, hug your knee in, and then exhale, maybe twist a little bit to the right. So that's that first stop. Okay, if you experimented with sort of that more intense of a twist on the other side, you can do so now. So that left elbow will come to the outside of the right knee. You'll drop the right hand, find the long spine, shoulders pulled down the back. Inhaling, long spine, exhale, maybe twisting and looking over the right shoulder. Slowly coming out of that, uncrossing the legs, both legs straight, just a little bounce. and soles of the feet together, Baddha Konasana. This actually might be a pose where many of you might like to sit on that towel or blanket that you had, right? Lifting the hips a little bit and then making sure they're in a neutral position can help being in this Baddha Konasana shape a little bit more, okay? So whether you're sitting on something or not, soles of the feet are together, grab the ankles, and then allow that leverage of the ankles to find a long spine. So sitting tall, pushing down through both sit bones equally so that you can sit nice and tall through the crown of the head. This might be where you stay. If you'd like to find a little bit more of a hinging from the hip and forward fold, you can do so, but make sure you're really prioritizing the long spine here. You can even take your elbows and push them to the outer, push them into your knees. And then thinking about as you fold, kind of leading with the belly and not the shoulders so we don't round. Slowly coming out of your Baddha Konasana, bending the knees, feet flat on the ground. We're coming down onto our back. So if you can, try to articulate your spine nice and slowly, all the way down to the mat. Now just for a moment, take your feet out wide and let your knees fall together in the middle of your mat. This kind of allows your low back to kind of reset. Close your eyes, let your hands come to a comfortable resting position, and just pause. We've changed our position. We're now on our back. Let that settle in your body. Blinking your eyes open, bringing your feet back together, about hip width apart, scooching those heels in as close to the sit bones as you can. You might even be able to kind of reach them with your fingers, setting up for bridge. Okay, lifting your hips up as you push down through your heels. Squeeze the glutes at the top. Give the knees a little squeeze too so they don't flare out too wide. And then thinking about those heels and pulling them towards your shoulders. That's going to ignite your hamstrings. See if you can come up just a little bit higher. And then as you come down, articulating the spine, one vertebrae at a time. And actually see if you can do that. It's hard to do, and you may not be able to, but I want you to take the time and effort to see if you can do that all the way to the tailbone. Okay. And then when you come up this time, I want you to think about rolling your spine. So using a pelvic tilt here, bringing the low back to the ground, tailbone leads, and the spine rolls up after the tailbone, coming all the way into your bridge. Stay here, or if you'd like to, you can interlace your hands underneath you and roll one shoulder at a time underneath you. And then using those arms underneath you, the clasp of your hands to push down into the ground. See if you can get a little bit of lift. Think about that cervical spine being long here, gaze is up. If you've interlaced the hands, release, untucking one shoulder at a time, and then again, that mindful articulation of the spine all the way down to the tailbone. You can continue with bridge or join me with a figure 4 shape of the legs. So right ankle on top of left knee. And then you might want to take the left foot and heel toe it just a little bit more towards the center of your body. And then just as you did before, using that pelvic tilt, low back pushes down, tailbone leads the roll up into a figure 4 bridge. Now here, I want you to try to think about your hips staying level. So don't let that right hip drop or raise. And think about that pubic bone being pulled up. That's going to help protect your low back. And then again, just like we did in that flag forward fold, I want that right knee actively pulling to the mat underneath you. And then find that long cervical spine, and then pull the left heel in a little bit towards the shoulders. And if you're like me, you're shaking a little bit, which is good. And then slowly lowering down one vertebrae at a time, being as mindful as you can with one leg. And then planting both feet, and before we do the other side, just letting your knees fall from one side to the other. So just a little windshield wipering back and forth. Settling in the middle. Okay, left ankle on right knee, pulling that right heel in towards the sit bone and more towards the center of your body. And then driving down through that right heel, coming into a pelvic tilt and then a full bridge. And then again, really finding that right glute engagement, pulling the pubic bone up so that the core is engaged, protecting the low back. Actively pulling the left knee towards the mat underneath you, but keeping the hips level. And then slowly lowering, one vertebrae at a time, all the way to the tailbone. Uncross the legs and just a little windshield wipering here. Okay, supine twist. So the simplest supine twist, the most sort of supportive, is just to bring your knees together, open up your arms to a T, and let your knees fall to one side. Okay. If you'd like a little bit more sensation in your twist, cross your right leg over your left. Pick up your hips, left hip, shift it more towards the center of your mat, and then let your knees fall to the left. Okay, so regardless of what you did with your legs, if you'd like to find a block or a pillow and put it under your knees, if you feel like that will help you sort of let go in this shape so that you can be grounded, take the time to do so. We'll be here for another 6 to 8 breaths. Coming back to that mantra, a little bit of self-love here. Maybe seeing if you can look over the right shoulder. Maybe closing down the eyes, but not checking out. Even in stillness, we try to really cultivate that presence and invite our mind to stay here and now. And slowly coming back up to center with the knees, and then switching sides. So whatever you did on the left, you'll do on the right. Setting your twist up mindfully, adding any props that you need so that you can feel grounded and the ability to kind of let go and drape into the ground. Both shoulders stay anchored. Gaze is over the left arm. Slowly coming back up to center, uncrossing the legs. Left leg is going to go long. Right knee, pull it into the chest. Right into the chest, and really think about that left leg extending long and that right knee being pulled in. Try not to hold tension in the shoulders while doing this. Release that a little bit and then shift the knee over more towards the outside of the rib cage and then give it a tug in towards the armpit. Again, being active in this left leg, just a little bit, so it's anchored. Letting go of that stretch. Right hand right on top of the right knee, left hand on top of the left hip, little circles with the knee. So starting out small and then perhaps working your range of motion to be a little bit wider, really working that ball and socket joint of our hip and just feeling that gliding around, noticing what you notice too in your body. Being an observer here. Pause, change directions, and again, start out slow. Start out small range of motion, and then slowly kind of create more of a range of motion. You'll find as that knee falls out to the right, the core has to engage a little bit so that hip stays on the ground. Coming into stillness, and then bringing the right leg right above the right hip. If you had a strap handy, a strap might be helpful. You don't need one though. There's two options. If you can, peace finger, big toes. So if you can do that, great, that's your strap, right? If you don't have a strap and you don't want to go up, get one, just grab your hamstring here, okay, right below the knee, okay? And then on your inhale, full lung, exhale, lift the chest, give a little tug on that leg as you bring your head and leg closer to each other. Inhale, release. And then exhale, do it again. Keep the shoulders down the back. You're bending from the elbow, keeping that leg straight, belly pulled in, and then release. One more time. Okay. Got to strap your big toe to look like this. Lifting, anchoring, and then inhale, release. Let go of that leg, bend the left leg, and pause here. Okay, if you need to hold on to the hamstring to make this comfortable, we're just going to keep this leg up above our heart, and that just kind of helps everything drain. Sort of stagnant fluid that might be in our legs, just drain out towards the heart. Maybe taking this opportunity to take some ankle circles one way and then the other. And then releasing that right leg down. Just some brief windshield wipers, or maybe a full body stretch sounds better to you. Just something in between sides. All right, right leg will stay long and strong. Left leg, pull the knee in towards the chest to start with. So firm the belly just a little bit so that you're not way arching in the low back to make this happen. Pull the shoulders down the back and kind of loosen the neck. Release the knee a little bit and shift it over to the side of your rib cage as you pull the knee towards the armpit. Being mindful about that right leg, keeping it engaged. Release that knee a little bit. Left hand right on the left knee, right hand on right hip. Little circles with that knee. So investigating now that ball and socket joint on this side. Slowly creating a larger range of motion. Always keeping the right hip anchored. And then switch directions, starting small and then working towards bigger. And then coming to stillness, extending that left leg long. Now again, if you had the strap, you could put it over your toes, peace finger, big toe, or simply grab the back of your hamstring, okay? On your inhale, long through the spine. Exhale, lift the chest, pull the leg towards the head. Inhale, release. Twice more like that. Exhale, lift, find the stretch in that hamstring, tone the low belly, release. One more time. Exhale, lift, nose towards the leg towards the nose, and then release. So again, bend the right leg. Let's start there. Then, if you feel comfortable just letting go of that left leg, just letting it hover above the hip, great. If you still need the strap or you want to kind of just have a little bit of a hold on the hamstring, whatever you got to do to be able to comfortably let that left leg be up above the hip. And sometimes if you're quiet and you really pay attention, you can feel the fluid draining. All right, release that left leg. And we're going to do figure four stretch. Okay, so just like we did with the bridges, we're going to bring our right ankle on top of the left knee. So finding that figure four shape. Okay, but instead of a bridge, we're going to thread the needle. So we're going to bring our hands behind our left hamstring or to the shin, whichever works best for you. And then as much as we can, we're going to relax through our shoulders and head. So let them come down to the mat. And then you're going to pull that left knee towards your chest very gently and slowly. Think about anchoring the tailbone or stretching the tailbone down towards the mat. Whether it's on the mat or not is really not important. It's just that action of lengthening the spine. And then as much as you can with the right elbow, pushing that right knee away from the chest. If there's any really strong sort of uncomfortable sensation in the right knee, give that right foot a hard flex towards the shin. And that just kind of helps the knee stay in alignment. It also might mean you need to come out of the stretch a little bit. So listen to your body here, but really find the intensity here. Most people are pretty tight in their hips. It can feel pretty intense. Sit with it. Let it escape little by little through your breath. Use your mantra. And perhaps find new depths in this stretch as you breathe. Release that left leg down, both legs long, maybe a full body stretch, maybe just a bouncing of the knees, whatever feels right. You can make some leg circles. And then we're going to switch sides. So left ankle, right knee, thread the needle, grab the right hamstring or shin, whatever is right for you. And then setting yourself up. So before you really pull that leg in, think about what your shoulders are doing. Think about your cervical spine and your head. And then think about your belly and your tailbone. And then pull that right knee towards the chest. So setting everything up before we go into the full extent. And then as much as you might be able to pull that right knee in, see if that left elbow can push that left knee away. And then a hard flex in that left foot if the knee is talking to you. Using your breath to tap in a little deeper, but also stay present, right? We're still on our mat. Practice that art of meditation still as your mind sort of wanders elsewhere. Invite it back with love and acceptance. Perhaps finding new depths here in this stretch as you breathe. And then nice and slowly coming out of that stretch. Finding something in between here before we move on that feels good, circling out the leg, maybe full body stretch. And then happy baby. So bringing the knees kind of to that same position we did before, kind of the outside of the rib cage, and then grabbing shins, feet, whatever you can grab here. And once you've got a hold of something, think about stretching again that tailbone to the ground. So whether it hits the ground again is not of importance. It's more that action. And then pull the knees down as you put pressure on the soles of the feet to the outer rib cage. And then be in stillness if you like, or maybe adding a little bit of rocking back and forth like happy babies do. Extending one leg if you like at a time. And then coming to stillness one more time in your happy baby. Stretching the tailbone down, keeping the shoulders down the back and relaxed, and giving those feet a little pressure. Good. Release the feet. And if you have a block, you can use it. You don't need one. We're going to do legs up the wall in the middle of the room. So you don't need to go to a wall here. So without a block, it's just simply what we did with one leg, but with two legs. Okay, if a strap makes it a little bit more doable to do, you can add a strap here. If you have a block, I find it quite nice to lift my hips up a little bit more, and I do find it's a bit easier to keep my legs up over my hips here. Okay, now if both legs is just going to be too difficult and you want to do that one leg again, go for one leg and I'll give you a halfway point. So we're finding your version of legs up the wall in the middle of the room, whether you have a block or not. Let your shoulders melt to the ground. Let your arms be heavy, stretched by your side. And then find the softness in this shape that you need to have. Every shape has a firmness and a softness throughout the body that needs to kind of strike a balance. So in this shape, there should be more softness than firmness. They can be subtle, whether it's in the jaw or maybe the brow, or simply in the hips where it's quite a bit more obvious or substantial. Shutting down the eyes, bringing that awareness inward, kind of letting stillness settle in. If you're on one side and you'd like to switch to the other, now's a good time. As you send your awareness more inward, see if you can feel the sensation of fluid draining out of your lower half towards your heart. Bending at the knees, bringing the feet down. If you had a block, removing it, or any other props. We're going to briefly pause in Supta Baddha Konasana. So soles of the feet together, knees out wide. Again, if you would like some blocks under the thighs or pillows, you can take the time to do that. We won't be here super long. This is our last shape, our last asana before we settle into Shavasana. So we're slowly transitioning to stillness. letting go of any kind of breath control, letting our natural rhythms take over, taking a scan of the body mindfully and methodically from head to toe, releasing tension along the way. Now, if you're listening to music, I invite you to pause that music and to enter into Shavasana in silence. And perhaps your house is not particularly silent, but that's okay too. Just being in your environment. So it's just an invitation. You don't have to. And we're going to slowly now extend our legs out long. Take up all the room you need to on your mat. And find some stillness here. Shavasana is a chance for your body to take the time to integrate the breath work and the movement into your body and let it settle. And for a moment, I want you just to bring your attention to what might feel different than when you began class today. And then, what might be the same still. And acknowledging both of those without judgment. Shutting down the eyes, letting gravity pull you to the earth. Your only job is to succumb to stillness. Little bits at a time. Deepen your breath. Bring in some small movements, rolling out the wrists, the ankles. Full body stretch on your inhale. And then if you'd like to have that transition between laying and seated, coming to your side, pausing here, and then eventually coming up into a comfortable seated position. Once you're there, bring your hands to heart center, close your eyes. Remember that what you practice on the mat are tools that you get to take with you off of the mat. You are love. I am love. We are love. Namaste.